guess some of the particulars, goalie, any lineup changes?
Goalie's quickie, and lineup changes, we're just getting with the guys as they're just coming in now. So.
I wanted to ask you, I think it's been 13, 14 games or so with JT since he's gotten here. We see the production, but what else are you seeing that has allowed, where else has he made an impact other than just on this switch?
I think he's helped others along as well. So his impact is one, but I think his contributions that can help other people as well. And on his line, he plays in a lot of situations for us as well. Starting to get more on the penalty kill and ease them in. I think regular shift, power play, and then now more penalty kill as well. In the locker room, his leadership he's got a real straightforward approach to him, and he's had a real impact, both in the room and on the ice. And so I think that's been really helpful for our group.
When you say help others, you mean like the style of play, the way?
Well, I mean just in general, I think Will's playing pretty good. He's played with Will. I think Mika's playing pretty good. And I'm not saying that he's responsible. I'm just saying that they together, I think they've played complementary to each other. He doesn't play the same game as Mika, nor does he play the same game as Will. And so I think that he's helped bring out those two players, and those two players have helped bring him out because he's producing as well. So I think that there's a little bit of rub off on each one in a positive way. Yeah.
When you're you have a back-to-back, it's two teams that you're battling against. I mean, the way yesterday's game ended, does it help you that you played right away today, or is there still a lingering sort of effect, disappointment at the way it ended yesterday?
There's no question we were disappointed the way it ended yesterday, and so that's over. It's a new day today. That game was early in the afternoon. This one's at 6 at night, so there's a little bit of distance. I think that's good, but guys are coming in, and we're getting ready now. Guys will be ready to play.
Just taking maybe last game into account a little bit, just what were some of the key messages that the coaching staff wants to communicate ahead of tonight?
We don't talk after the game, so we didn't communicate anything last night.
Just going into
yeah, so we haven't gotten to the players yet. So when I get to the players, I think I'll give that message to them first. So
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
What were your takeaways from it? How did you have
the game? Excuse me, the game last night.
Yeah.
It was disappointing. We had a 3-1 lead in the third period, and so when you don't walk out of there with the 2 points, in regulation, you're disappointed. And so it didn't go that way. We ended up walking out with 1 point from an overtime loss, and so with that, comes frustration. So,
is there a danger, Peter, in sitting back too much?
I don't think we sat back. I think the even strength chances were 3-2 for us in the third period. It was tight the whole game. There weren't a lot of even strength chances. I think the one thing we could have done better is stayed out of the penalty box. I think maybe it was 5-1 or 5-2. 5-2, I think, in their favor on power plays. And ultimately, they scored on the fifth one right at the end. And so, that ends up being a big deal inside of that game when you're up 3-1. And so we needed to kill that last one off. But I think we need to do a better job of staying out of the box, and that can help us be more successful in the long run.
It felt like maybe some defensive miscues just towards the end of the game. Just how do you prevent that going forward? Is that
from a 5-on-5, again, they had 2 chances, even strength in the third period. They scored on one of them. And everybody was down there. That puck, if you go back and watch it, that puck was bouncing around pretty good. We had all 5 guys down in there. It bounced over this stick. It bounced over the defenseman's stick. It hits the goaltender. We don't, it doesn't stop moving. It comes out the other side, and they had somebody there to bang it in. But short of that, I didn't think there was a lot of defensive miscues.
One more on JT. You went through a lot at the end of the time in Vancouver. I'm not asking you were not there, so I'm not going to comment on that. But and this is a question I would ask him too. But just from your perspective of watching, do you see a guy who has come in here and does it look like a player who's gotten a refresh? In a way.
I'm not sure I'd have the answer to that because I would have to see the backside of it too. I can tell you that. He looks to me like he comes to the rink the same way every day. He loves the game and he's happy to be here. And he's settled into our locker room quickly. I can't speak to your question exactly, but I can see that he's in a good place here. And like I said, he's done a lot of good things since he's been here.
Just given what these games mean right now, what do you want to see from your team just from the start tonight, in their start and in their response?
Yeah, I mean, well, we're going to have to play well now. We're playing a team that's fresh and right near us in the standings. They've got good young players, and we're going to need a 60-minute effort. There's things that we need to, like I mentioned, a couple things that we can clean up, but I think we're going to need a complete 60-minute. We're going to need it from everybody. We're going to need a real solid game. This team's fighting for the exact same thing that we're fighting for, so it'll be one of those ones where, I think the better team is going to, for me, has to do it on the long haul for 60 minutes. It's not just about the start. It's not about the ending. It's going to be a 60-minute grind. I think specialty teams could factor, when you get into these games, specialty teams could factor into it. It did last night. Perfect example. So specialty teams will be important. So, yeah.
How'd you feel about
Last
Susie?
one?
I thought he did good. I thought he came in and scored a big goal. He almost had another one as well. He's just a big guy. I thought he jumped in. I think it's always harder for a player getting traded to jump in for the actual player than it is for the team around it. The team has already been here and doing their thing, and so I thought he came in and played well for us. Like I said, from a defensive standpoint, it was pretty tight. The chances were low both ways from even strength, 11-12 or something like that. So there wasn't a lot of chances. So he's part of that from the defensive standpoint. He contributed a goal offensively. Thought maybe he could have had another one too. So I thought overall pretty good for a first showing.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.